My name is Ashley. I'm living a peaceful and harmonious life with my husband John. But there's one issue, my brother's wife Rachel. My brother and Rachel have a daughter named Aita. 3-year-old Aita is our adorable niece, loved by John and me. It's fine to play with her occasionally, but Rachel brings her to our home almost every week. Ashley, please take care of Aita this week again, alright? Aita, be a good girl. Okay. Aita energetically responds as she comfortably trots from the entryway to our living room. Assuming that John, who is relaxing in the living room, will look after Aita, I muster up the courage to talk with Rachel. John and I really love Aita, but having her every week is quite burdensome, even though we work from home. I'm an illustrator and John is a programmer. We are both working as freelancers. Being a freelancer, we can decide our days off based on our work progress, but we can't care for a child when we're in crunch time. But we can't let our niece get hurt while she's in our care, so I end up drawing on my tablet while keeping an eye on her. I felt guilty that I complained to Rachel, my brother's wife, worried that it might cause an issue between my brother and her, but I couldn't bear it anymore. I'm really sorry, but could we make today the last day that we look after Aita? Her face turns to anger as I ask her humbly. It was too late to realize that I had made a mistake. She raised her eyebrows and snapped at me. You wouldn't understand, Ashley, since you don't have children, but raising children is truly difficult. You have no idea how hard it has been to raise Aita this far. Stop complaining when you don't even have a child. Her words stab my heart like sharp daggers. That's because I'm infertile. John and I love children. We always talked to each other that we wanted to have children when we got married, but we didn't manage to conceive even after getting married. We went to a hospital for consultation and found out that I have a condition that makes it extremely difficult for me to get pregnant. We are currently undergoing fertility treatments, which are physically taxing and costly. Every month, the hopeful anticipation of children brings a lot of emotional stress to John and me. To be blamed for not understanding because I don't have children hits me hard, especially in the middle of all this. Yet, her tirade doesn't stop. Unlike you two, who are always cooped up at home, I'm a sociable person. I have many friends who rely on me. Today, I came to leave Aita with you because I'm going to lend an ear to my friend. You two who are shut-ins and don't contribute to society should appreciate that I'm doing my part for you too. If you get it, take care of Aita properly and quit complaining. After giving me a piece of her mind, Rachel, dressed to the nines, leaves the house with a waft of perfume. I return to the living room where John, who apparently overheard everything, is unusually angry and says, I didn't want to show such a scene to Aita, that's why I didn't go, but that was too harsh. It's been about a month since little Aita started visiting us every week. I figured it's about time to discuss this with my brother, so I decided to give Chris a call. Hello? Chris?
Ah, Ashley, what's up? It's been a while. You doing okay?
I'd been wondering what Chris was doing leaving Aita with us. He seems like his usual self on the phone, but I was irritable from a recent argument with Rachel. So I said with a tone of annoyance, Hey bro. Sure, Aita is a sweetheart, but it's a burden if you leave her with us every week. John and I are freelancers, but we've got deadlines to meet, you know. A little consideration would be nice.
Huh? Aita, she's sleeping right now.
What? He said that Aita was sleeping at home. I didn't understand, and I was confused when he sent me a photo of her sleeping. This was not the Aita I knew. I sent him a photo of Aita playing with John, to which he responded, Who's that girl? The last time I met Aita with Chris, she was still a baby who couldn't even walk. It occurred to me that the child left with us every week, posing as Aita, might not be her. But then, why would Rachel bring her over? Chris and I were puzzled. Then John, who had been listening to our conversation, hesitantly called Chris's name.
Chris, I'm sorry if I'm wrong, and I know it's incredibly rude, but hasn't Rachel been acting strange lately?
John and I had talked about it often. Rachel did seem different. After her parents passed away due to illness, we stopped having family gatherings. The last time I saw Rachel a few years ago, she was indeed attractive, but wore more modest clothes. Recently, however, she's been wearing bright colors like red and blue and sporting flashy accessories. Chris seemed to have noticed this too, as he responded with a somewhat dejected,
"Yeah, perhaps."
Sighing, Chris said,
"I might have an idea about what's going on. I'll call you back later,"
and hung up. Though we felt bad for him, John and I couldn't help suspecting Rachel might be cheating on him. There's nothing we could do about her potential infidelity except leave it to Chris. What John and I can do is try to find out who this cheerful girl playing house in front of us is. Ada, you're 3 years old, right? Can you tell us your name? We had always believed she was our niece, so we never thought to confirm her name. But if she isn't Ada, we need to find out her name. With a pounding heart, I asked the girl, who responded with a smile. I'm Ada Johnson. I'm 3 years old. After John and I exchanged a glance and paused for a moment, we showered little Ada with praise, saying, You said that so well. We acted as usual so Ada wouldn't notice our uneasy feelings. I had never heard of a family name like Johnson before. We didn't know where this child was from or who she was, but it was clear that little Ada was not to blame for any of this. Thinking it might help my brother, who said he might have some ideas about the situation, I messaged him on WhatsApp telling him that the girl here was Ada Johnson. His only response was,
"Got it, thanks."
Then, afternoon, my brother arrived at our home with a certain individual.
"Sorry to trouble you, but there is something I want to talk about when Rachel comes to pick up Ada. So can we wait here?"
He asked, and I gladly agreed, because I didn't feel like forgiving Rachel, who had betrayed my brother. As the evening passed and night came, Rachel arrived at our house, staggering drunk. I'm home. Ada, I came to pick you up. Unaware of the storm that was about to break, I greeted the nonchalantly returning Rachel with a plastered smile. Welcome home, Rachel. You seem really drunk. How about a glass of water? That would be nice. Is this your way of apologizing for the nonsense you said this morning? When the cheery Rachel entered the living room, Ada was happily playing on a woman's lap. Rachel looked blankly at that woman who was glaring at her. Who is that? Did you hire a babysitter? Nice to meet you. I'm Katie Johnson, Ada's mother. What? Rachel was so surprised that she couldn't even take the glass of water I offered her. Staggering backward, she bumped into a corner and fell over. As I looked down at the gracelessly sprawled Rachel without offering any help, I heard my brother's voice from the entrance.
"I've brought him."
Why is Chris here too? Rachel, still on the floor, exclaimed as my brother dragged in a man with gaudy colored hair. Rachel turned pale at the sight of the man, and the man turned pale upon seeing Katie. My brother instructed Rachel and the unfamiliar man to sit down next to each other. Even though they weren't told to, they both tried to sit up straight. But their backs were not straight, and both looked troubled as their eyes darted around. Because it was not appropriate to expose such a conflict to a child, John, who had been playing with Ada in the next room, took her out. Once everybody was all there, my brother took control of the situation, looking down at Rachel and the man. "I never imagined that my close friend would cheat on me with my wife. Isn't that right, Noah?" A man named Noah was reportedly an underclassman from Chris's high school days. Noah, who still keeps in touch, used to occasionally visit Chris's house. Chris had always been bothered by the way Noah looked at Rachel.
I thought if Rachel was going to cheat, it'd be with you, but I can't believe it's really you. And you come to leave your own child with my sister and brother-in-law. What the hell is that about, huh?
Chris used to be a well-known troublemaker in their small town in Nebraska. Now he's a corporate employee, having mellowed out, but his old self resurfaces when he confronts Noah. At the terrifying inquiry of Chris, Noah let out a pathetic scream, "Oh no!" before answering in a trembling voice.
Rachel was the one who seduced me. She came all the way to my hair salon and asked for me specifically. She approached me saying she liked me.
Hold on. You're blaming it all on me? You were totally into it, Noah.
Who cares who started it, you idiots? What you two need to do first is apologize.
On Chris's sound point, Rachel and Noah started to apologize. Or so I thought. But it turned out that there was no way Noah, who could calmly entrust his daughter to strangers, had a normal train of thought. Noah, pointing at the crying Katie, raised his voice.
This is all her fault. She hardly pays me any attention, so I got lonely and cheated. If you're going to blame someone, blame Katie.
Don't screw around! Katie, who screamed out suddenly, made Noah jump. When Chris brought her over, she was quietly elegant. I never thought my husband would be leaving Aita with strangers while I'm at work. I'm truly sorry. The fury of Katie, who had always been so humble, was incredible. What do you mean you cheated because you were lonely? Do you have no self-control? I can't believe you left Aita with strangers. Why did you do such a thing?
That's also because Rachel said her sister-in-law couple are childless shut-ins with nothing but time on their hands. So they're a convenient place, too.
We may not have children, but we work from home. We're not handymen. I told Rachel this morning, too. We're troubled. We never thought you were deceiving us into caring for your mistress's child as if it was your own child. But there's nothing wrong with that, right? It might be inevitable that I'm blamed for cheating, but I just taught a childless couple what it's like to have children.
What?
The voice that slipped out, quite deep like Chris's. And I looked down at Rachel, who was similar to her lover, let out a pathetic, "Oh no," and yelled. It is not your business. We've been trying to have children. You knew about that too, didn't you? It's been infuriating to have you make snide remarks like that, but I put up with it because you're Chris's wife. Not anymore. Let me tell you, you're incredibly rude. You bring a stranger's child to our house without asking, and you come with your overly dramatic makeup that doesn't match your age. Your perfume is too strong. When I spilled what I had been thinking all along, Rachel turned bright red, but she must have realized that she was no longer in a position to argue back. She bit her lip and said nothing. After that, Rachel and Noah were thoroughly scolded by Chris and Katie. Naturally, both couples ended up getting divorced, and they had to pay hefty educational expenses. Chris spread the word to his friends in Nebraska about Noah cheating with Rachel, and the rumor reached Noah's local hair salon. Noah, who had become the talk of the town, ended up getting fired. Rachel, who had been a housewife, was trying to find a job, but she had no work experience since she became a housewife right after graduating from college. As expected, her job search has been tough. Because her parents found out about her cheating, she was disowned and is now eking out a living through the odd jobs she manages to find. Both Rachel and Noah lost their jobs and families due to their infidelity and found themselves in a pitiful state. As for me, surprisingly, fertility treatments worked out. I'm pregnant, and guess what? We're expecting twins. John and I shed tears of joy and are now eagerly waiting for our babies to be born. We still keep in touch with Aita and Katie, with whom we formed an unusual bond. Aita and our niece Aita seem to get along well and often play happily together. They even touched my belly, telling the babies, "Let's play together once you're born," which was beyond adorable. Though my brother Chris and Katie were betrayed by their partners, they have resolved to raise their children as single parents. For them, John and I would not hesitate to help with raising the children. The four of us, John, Chris, Katie, and me, made a promise to cooperate in raising our niece Ada's and the twins about to be born. That's how we formed a strong bond.